Well, it's officially fall, and in my household, that means soups and casseroles and one dish meals. So, this is Velvet with Empowering Moments with Velvet, aka the non cooking cook. Remember, I told you guys that I do cook and I can cook, but I don't cook as often as some of you. However, once I find a quick and easy meal that will satisfy, my family or whomever I'm feeding, then I go with that. And today, because it's a fall day, a beautiful fall day, somewhat, was little. I think it's going to rain later on, so I wanted some my version of a homemade soup. Now, the way my mom and my grandmother made their soups was totally different from the way that I'm going to make it. They used fresh vegetables, that they picked from the garden. Velvet is using store-bought vegetables. So I'm just going to show you quick and easy the way that I make my homemade soup. And when I tell you it is delicious, believe it or not, it is. So the first thing we need is a good pot. A good pot. So this is a good cast iron pot. And I'm going to use some okra, lima beans, corn, carrots. Now, I thought that I had some canned whole tomatoes, and unfortunately, when I looked in my pantry, I did not. So I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to use Rotel petite tomatoes, and I'm going to use tomato soup. Tomato soup. And I also have a secret weapon. This is better than bouillon. When I tell you this stuff, I put it on everything. I really do. I put it in my collard greens. I put it in my cabbage. I put it in my meats. It is so good. It's like a bouillon, but it's a paste. And I use this, and as you can tell, I have practically used it all. But I do have a spare. But that's what I'm going to use, and we're going to have homemade soup, and that should last for a few days, and cornbread. Okay, so let me get started. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to pan the camera down just a bit so that you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my vegetables, starting with my okra. I'm going to go ahead and put my corn in. And usually when I make this, my mom, she always says, bring me some soup. So I'm going to go ahead and make enough so that I can take them some soup, my parents. And they can eat off of that, and the lima beans. Now, some people put, meat in theirs. And I like meat in mine. I really like chicken. Sometimes I like ham. But I, because I'm, thinking about my mom and my family, I'm not going to put any meat in it. I'll probably cook some meat on the side, and they can, if they want to add it in, they can. I'm going to go ahead and add the tomato soup. I'm going to go ahead and add that. And let me just go ahead and I'm going to open this can. I meant to have it already open, but real life. So I'm going to put the Rotel in there. Oh wow, that's going to be good. I would prefer the whole potatoes, but the whole tomatoes. However, I don't have that. And another thing, sometimes some people do put potatoes in theirs, but I don't. And I'm just going to mix this up kind of. And then I'm going to add my secret weapon, which is my better than bouillon. And I'm going to add that with maybe a little bit of water. And I'm going to add that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and cook it. And I'm just going to get this out. In fact, I'm just going to put a little water in this. And shake it up. Get all that goodness out of there. And I'm going to just pour it in. Now, let me tell you, with this, because it is a bouillon, it has sodium in it, so you know, I would be very careful with how much you use. One time I put a little too much. I think 1 spoonful is really good enough when you're making this, if you're putting it in, you know, soups or making it in a dish. But, you know, for some people, that salt doesn't bother them. But if you're going to do this, I would hold off on seasoning your dish. Because I'm telling you, that stuff is, it's high in sodium. And you don't need a lot of salt. When I cook my collard greens or my cabbage, my vegetables, I don't even have to use salt. I really don't, because it's so much sodium in it. So be very, very careful when you're doing that. And one moment. And I'm just going to put this on the stove, and I'm just going to let it rip. And I'm going to have this with some cornbread. I may make some baked chicken on the side. Because like I said, I do like my soup with chicken in it. But I know my mother, they don't like it with the chicken in it, because I think sometimes they like to freeze it. So I'm not going to put the chicken in it this time. But normally I would if I were just making it for me. So that is my quick version of homemade soup. I'm going to raise you up a little bit. That's my version of homemade soup. And what I have it on the stove now. And it's going to do its thing. And once it's finished, I'm going to come back and let you see the complete version. Again, this is Velvet with Empowering Moments with Velvet. If you like the content that I'm giving you, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, I just want to say, I have a cousin that has a channel. Her name is Cindy, and it's In the Kitchen with Cindy. And if you want some good homemade, good food, I mean, whew, this girl can burn, as they say. If you want some good food, homemade, made from scratch, please visit her channel. It's In the Kitchen with Cindy. And visit her channel and support her. She is doing really, really good with her channel. And she is doing all kinds of, I mean, she's making oxtails. She's making, you name it. She's making all kinds of dishes that I can't even pronounce. But she's very, very good in the kitchen. And once you get an opportunity, please visit her channel. Thank you so much. And I'll be right back with the finished product. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that pot is simmering away. So what I did was I went in and I tasted the soup, and I added some chicken seasoning to it. I added some adobe, and I added just a little bit more of the Better Than. I opened another jar, added a little bit more of that, and some pepper. And I want to tell you, it is kicking right now. I'll be back with the finished product.